All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about laziness today, but probably not in the way you're used to thinking about it. See, this isn't about that modern hustle culture or feeling guilty for taking a day off. Not at all. We are digging deep into this ancient biblical idea that frames work, rest, and our purpose in a way that, honestly, has huge implications for how we live our lives right now.
I mean, we've all been there, right? It's Monday morning, that alarm clock goes off, and you just think, ugh, this has to be some kind of cosmic punishment. There's this idea floating around that work is just this necessary evil we all have to suffer through, a consequence for something that went wrong a long, long time ago. But is that really the full picture?
And, on the flip side of that, if work is a curse, then is laziness just the antidote? Is it really just a form of rest, a way to escape the daily grind? Well, we're going to push back on that assumption because the Bible suggests something way, way deeper is going on here.
So where do we even start to find the answer? Well, we have to go all the way back to the very beginning. And it turns out our whole understanding of work as a punishment might be completely upside down. The real blueprint, the original design for work, was set in stone before anything ever went wrong with the world.
Okay, this verse right here, this changes everything. And the key isn't just what it says, it's when it was said. This command from God to work and keep the garden was given in paradise. This is before sin, before the fall, before the curse. That means work was never meant to be a punishment. It was part of the original, perfect design from the get-go. So this just reframes the whole conversation. Work, in its purest form, is a calling. It's an act of worship, really. It's a way for us to partner with God in cultivating and creating things. It's actually fundamental to our purpose. I mean, think about it. God himself worked in creation, and in doing so, he set this pattern for us, a rhythm of purpose and productivity. And that is the key distinction we have to get. The fall, the curse, it didn't invent work, it just corrupted it. It's what introduced the toil, the frustration, the sweat, the thorns and thistles. So if you think about it that way, laziness isn't some kind of relief from the curse. It's actually a rebellion against the way things were supposed to be. Okay, so let's jump over to the book of Proverbs. This is where we get the practical, street-level wisdom on how this all plays out in real life. Proverbs diagnoses the root of laziness, and it frames it not just as being unproductive, but as a form of deep foolishness. I absolutely love this imagery. The Bible literally tells us to go take a lesson from an insect. Why? Well, think about an ant. It doesn't need a boss standing over its shoulder. It doesn't need an external motivator. It has this innate internal drive. It just understands that time is valuable and that work is essential for the future. It just gets on with it, preparing and gathering with purpose.
And Proverbs makes the consequences brutally clear. There's no gray area. On one side, you've got the slack hand. It's a symbol of apathy that leads directly to poverty and shame. But on the other, you have the hand of the diligent, and that leads to provision, to wealth, to prudence. The message couldn't be simpler. Your approach to work has very real, very tangible outcomes in your life.
And look, this isn't just theory. The Old Testament is just packed with heroes whose faithfulness was proven through their work. I mean, think of Joseph, working with total excellence even when he was a slave with no hope. Or Nehemiah, who was so focused on rebuilding that wall he refused to get distracted by anything. Or Ruth, working tirelessly in the fields just to provide for her family. Over and over again, you see that a diligent work ethic is a sign of a faithful heart.
And all of this leads us to the climax of the entire argument, Jesus Christ himself. He's not just another good example. He is the perfect, divine embodiment of purposeful work. With this one sentence, Jesus frames his entire identity. He says, I'm a worker, just like my Father is a worker. And this means every healing, every teaching, every single step he took wasn't random. It was a deliberate act of divine labor driven by an incredible sense of purpose and urgency. And of course, it all builds to this moment, his final words on the cross. Notice, he didn't say, I am finished. He said, it is finished. That was a declaration of completion, the announcement that the greatest, hardest, most important work in the history of the universe, the work of our redemption, was done, complete.
So, okay, this all sounds pretty intense. Does this mean we're supposed to embrace some toxic 24/7 hustle culture to be considered faithful? Absolutely not. The Bible's actually very clear about telling the difference between biblical diligence and the kind of burnout we see today. There's a sacred rhythm to it. This verse right here is the balance beam.
True, God-honoring diligence is fueled by faith and by love, not by anxiety or this desperate need to prove ourselves. You see, both work and rest are gifts from God. So the point isn't just to do more and more, but to do our work for the right reasons, trusting God with the results, and then thankfully receiving the rest that He provides.
So what does this look like practically? Here's a simple 4-step rhythm. First, start your day with prayer. And don't just ask for motivation, ask for His strength. Second, just do the small things faithfully. Be like the ant, consistency is key. Third, when you feel that laziness creeping in, and you will, just repent, turn from it quickly, and lean on God's grace to move forward. And finally, keep an eternal perspective. Remember that the work you do for Him has a reward that lasts forever. And this really brings us to the most crucial point of this whole thing. We don't work hard to earn our salvation. Christ already finished that work on the cross, remember? We work hard to display our salvation. Our diligence, our focus, our excellence. It becomes a living, breathing showcase of a heart that's been redeemed and given a new purpose.
So we'll end with this. The Bible is clear that if you're a follower of Christ, your life has a divine purpose. Laziness isn't just about wasting time on the couch, it's about wasting that divine purpose. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what are you building with the time, the talent, and the work that you've been given?